This is an ABP Live Podcast.
हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू अनदर एपिसोड ऑफ एबीपी लाइव पॉडकास्ट्स। एंड ये आप हमारा ऑडियो जो है यूजुअली सुनते हैं वीकली बेसिस पे, कॉल्ड डिज ईज विद मिस अरूबा कबीर, हु इज अ मेंटल हेल्थ थेरेपिस्ट एंड अ मेंटल हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल। यूजुअली हम लोग एक सीरीज निकालते हैं एंड वी टॉक अबाउट अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स एंड लेकिन जब हम वीडियो पे बात करें, हम आप सबसे बात कर सकते हैं फेस टू फेस, तो वी थॉट लेट्स डू समथिंग वेरी बेसिक। आजकल मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में लास्ट 2-3 ईयर्स से 5-6 ईयर्स से बहुत बात हो रही है एंड अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आर देयर, बहुत अजम्पशंस हैं। सो वी थॉट दैट वी आर गोइंग टू आंसर सम बेसिक क्वेश्चंस अबाउट मेंटल हेल्थ सो दैट यू ऑल कैन गेट दोज आंसर्स फ्रॉम अ प्रोफेशनल रादर देन अननोन सोर्सेज, या फिर ऐसी चीज़ें जहाँ आपको पता नहीं है कि इज इट अ फैक्ट और नॉट। So, we have Miss Arouba Kabir with us as usual. Her beautiful voice जो कि आप सुनते ही हैं हमारे साथ, आज उनका beautiful face भी है। So, ma'am, welcome to ABP Live Podcast once again.
Thank you so much, and just look at this energy. I'm in awe of this energy. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so basic start करते हैं. What is mental health?
Anything to do with your psychological, social well-being, emotional health is called mental health. Now, if I say ब्रेन के रिलेटेड जो भी चीज़ें आपकी होती है, चाहे वो थॉट्स है, इमोशंस है, बिहेवियर्स है, उसको हम मेंटल हेल्थ बोलते हैं।
Right.
तो जितना इम्पोर्टेंट आपका फिजिकल हेल्थ है, उतना इम्पोर्टेंट आपका मेंटल हेल्थ भी है। इट हैज़ टू बी टेकन केयर ऑफ, इट गोज हैंड इन हैंड। यू कांट जस्ट थिंक दैट दिस ईयर आई विल टेक केयर ऑफ माय फिजिकल हेल्थ, नेक्स्ट ईयर आई विल टेक केयर ऑफ माय मेंटल हेल्थ।
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen like that.
Right. Okay. When do you think that, now is the point that any XYZ person needs to see a therapist? Because stress सबको होता है, anxiety किसी ना किसी point पे सबको होती है, everyone goes through those phases. But what is that, breaking point where you were like, no, this is where I draw a line, this is where I need help? वो कैसे figure out होता है?
The important thing I tell people is that you don't have to reach to the breaking point to see a professional.
Right.
You don't always have to go to a doctor just for surgery.
Right.
When you have those little backaches or constant or frequent headaches, तो हमें लगता है यार चेक करा लो। वैसे ही if you see that you have been overthinking, you have not been able to sleep well, you are eating more or eating less, you are maybe working more, or you are socializing more, or you are isolating more. So that is the time you should see that there is something in my behavior and I need to see a professional. Don't wait for that breaking point. नहीं, until and unless I am not suicidal, or until and unless I don't lose my job or have a breakup or go through a divorce or go through bankruptcy. You don't have to wait for all those things.
Right.
When you see some change in your behavior and you're like, this is not my normal self, and maybe it is my normal self, but it is not helping me anymore. I have been doing this thing for a while, but it is not helping me. So basically, when you go to a therapist, when you go to a professional, you also learn emotional resilience, and emotional resilience is bouncing back from the stress. आपने जैसे कहा, stress तो होता रहेगा, anxiousness आती रहेगी.
Right.
But do you know the coping strategies to bounce back? Or it takes you, कुछ लाइफ में हो गया, 1 साल तो उसी में चला गया.
Right.
कुछ लाइफ में होता भी रह सकता है, but you can still continue doing things otherwise.
Right.
So that is when
So you
they
don't
should.
have to, go to that ekdam last straw. You don't have to wait for that. If you feel anything that is a little abnormal according to you, or you're feeling something abnormal, go.
Yes.
Go visit a therapist. Okay. Now, another question that a lot of people face, medication and therapy. These are two different things. इस बात की clarity लोगों को नहीं है. And then there are two different kinds of people and professionals who can give you therapy and medication. So, what is the difference between a therapist and a psychiatrist?
ये साइकियाट्रिस्ट बेचारे डॉक्टर्स हैं, दे हैव डन एमबीबीएस, उसके बाद वो एमडी करते हैं, डीएनपी करते हैं. बट आई रियली फील बैड फॉर साइकियाट्रिस्ट बिकॉज people are not aware of their qualifications, and
Right.
they feel psychologist and a psychiatrist is the same person. No, they have been physicians and then they have taken specialization in psychiatry. So that is a psychiatrist. And psychologists are people who have done their maybe masters or PhD or MPhil or all these degrees in human behavior, totally in human behavior. They can help the psychiatrist, and they work together. A psychiatrist can provide therapy as well. Sometimes they choose, some of them they don't. They only write medications. A psychologist cannot write you medication. They only help you with therapy. At the same time, a psychologist does the testing for you, diagnosis for you, which helps the psychiatrist to figure out things. But these are two different professions. Psychiatrist can write a medication, psychologist cannot. Therapy is done by the psychologist, and psychiatrists can choose if they have, trained themselves in that and they are interested in that. That is one thing. And second thing, what people have to understand, that medication and therapy go hand in hand. It is not replacement. No, I will take only therapy or I will take only medication. Medication is there to bring those chemical balances, because there is an imbalance. That is why something is happening. Therapy is helping you change your behavior, thought process, because of which your feelings change. And if it is done together, the results are so amazing and so beautiful. But what we see is like people are like, मैं तो medicine खा रहा हूँ ना. I'm like, but medicine खत्म होगा, सोच तो वही है ना.
Right.
So you should do it together, and that is where I see the results are so beautiful and so faster than the people who only are like, नहीं मुझे दवाई नहीं खानी है, दवाई तो पागल लोग खाते हैं. I'm like, I have been on medication. I am nowhere like, you think if I'm insane, I can't think for myself. I'm sorry, that is not true.
Right.
So you can take medication, but medication जब भी आप लेते हैं, take from the doctor, according to the doctor. Take all the precautions. If you do self-medication, then that can also cause problems.
Right. And isn't the case that, when mental health issue, whatever a person is facing, जब वो extreme होता है, only then they go for medication, और या फिर एक nascent stage पे सिर्फ therapy से चीज़ solve हो जाती है? Is that a case or no?
See, that can happen and that cannot happen. It also depends on what kind of lifestyle, environment you have around you.
Right.
Personally, myself, like I live with the genetic medical conditions, and sometimes it just happens that I'm not able to sleep. So I don't wait for I will keep doing therapy and meditation, it will help me. I call my doctor, they give me medication just for 10 days. It helps me sleep and heal.
Right.
Finish. But it is always done with the consultation of a doctor. It is not that I go to the market and buy melatonin, have it. I'm like, now I will get addicted to that.
Right.
So it is not that you have to reach to the breaking point to have medication. You can always, sometimes doctors don't give you medication. It is not like
Necessary
always that a psychiatrist will, nahi dawai kha lo. So, kabhi kabar, a lot of psychiatrists send me clients saying that, Arouba, I have not written any medication. Please provide them therapy. They are a good client for therapy. Right. So that is what, it is not like always doctor will give you medicine. If it is not needed, they will not.
So it depends on the diagnosis.
Yes.
Right. So diagnosis के लिए भी therapist के पास जाना है, psychiatrist के पास जाना बहुत ज़रूरी है. Doctor के पास जाओ. Okay. So again, as I mentioned in the beginning also that बहुत awareness आ रहा है, बहुत बात हो रही है mental health के बारे में. So there are parents who actually want to figure out that if their child is doing well mentally, or are they facing some stressors, is there some issue, but of course these people don't know how to communicate that to their child, how to talk to them, because they can't ask you आपको कोई mental health issue है क्या? A 10-11-year-old will be like क्या? So how is what are certain questions that a parent can ask a child to figure out if they are doing well mentally, emotionally, and if they are going through something?
Observe their eating habits. How they are eating. Are they hungry? Are they feeling too hungry? Are they eating too much or are they eating less? That would be one thing. Ask your child, how is your appetite now? But you can notice it also, observe it also. They are dependent on you for that. Number 2, ask them, how do you sleep? Do you have nightmares? Do you have too many dreams? Are you scared of sleeping? Or are you sleeping less? Or are you sleeping more? So that could be the second thing. Third thing could be, is something worrying you? Is there something you want to talk about? You don't always have to, is बारे में बात करो, उस बारे में. No, just ask them open-ended questions. Is something worrying you? Do you want to talk about something? Is there something you want to share with me? Right. That can also be something. And then you also see headaches and stomach aches. If your child is just complaining frequently about headaches, or they are like सर दर्द हो रहा है, पेट दर्द हो रहा है, या allergies हो रही है, fever हो रहा है. फीवर एलर्जीज आपको पता चल भी जाती है, बट हेडेक और स्टमक एक,
नहीं पता
ask
चलता,
them.
right.
These are 3-4 things you can see, and it totally is an indication of stress in a child. A lot of clients come to me and they're like, oh, my child is usually sick. I'm like, they should not be usually sick. So how are their anxiety levels? Are they happy in school? Are they going, is somebody bullying them? Are they going through some abuse? And they're like, ऐसी बातें कैसे करें हम बच्चों से? So you can just put these open-ended questions and make environment safe for the child to share anything with you. Don't say ऐसी बात नहीं करती और वैसी बात, समझाओ उनको क्या बात करनी और क्या नहीं. Just leave that table for them where they can come and share their, pour their heart out, and you can help them.
Right. So don't create certain restrictions and constraints for your child, and because of course a child also many times they want to talk, but they don't feel like कि मुझे ही अपने मम्मी पापा से बात
They
करनी
don't feel
चाहिए.
safe.
They
They
don't
don't
feel
feel
safe.
safe, yeah.
So create that kind of a safe space for your child, because you are the closest to them, and you are the ones who can actually sort out their issues or take them to a professional who can sort out their issues. Right. So since you said that headaches and stomach aches are also an indication that something might be wrong, or something might not be right. So that means that there is a certain connection between a physical and a mental health issue. So, and there can be physical symptoms of a mental health issue as well. And there are certain terms that are going around these days, like vaginism, and of course we all know about erectile dysfunction. So, do you think that these things also have certain mental health implications which are causing them?
Most of the times, the cases we see, whether it is premature ejaculation, whether it is erectile dysfunction or vaginism or low libido in women, we always see a story behind. There has been somebody. There could be a background of maybe unpleasant emotions at home, maybe the associations which were brought with sex education or sex, or maybe there was some kind of abuse, maybe they were bullied or they were scared. There would be always some or the other performance pressure would be there that it can cause. But having said that, is it like only with therapy it goes away? No, you also need medication also, because for a long time you have been living with some stress. So automatically chemicals will be imbalanced. So you need doctor's medication and you need therapy in order to come out of it. Have I seen successful cases? Absolutely. Do I work with people like that? Yes. But it is very rare people reach out for therapy in these cases.
Right, because they don't know that there is a connection between these two things. So there is a connection and you should reach out. Another question that even I had sometimes, and even I indulge in this behavior, so I thought that I might, give it a go. So if I've had a very stressful day, and I've had a very long day, and by the end of it I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so done, I'm done with everything. I, give myself the liberty to just go and binge eat. And that happens with everyone. I mean, so many of my friends, we share this, behavioral pattern. And then when I binge eat, I feel guilty. I'm like, why did I do that? I didn't need to do that. I could have simply eaten whatever I wanted to and ruk sakti thi. So, do you think that there is a connection between these things? Why does it happen?
Absolutely. Tell me one thing, as a child, whenever you felt bad or you cried, or what was given to you?
Chocolate.
तो अगर आप बुरा फील करते हैं, मम्मी बोल चल तेरे लिए कुछ तेरा फेवरेट खाना बनाती हूँ, ये देख कितनी अच्छी मिठाई है, ये ले चॉकलेट ले ले. So you always associate food with feeling good emotions.
There is a conditioning there that has happened over the years.
And we see that most of the time, 90% of the cases come like this who have had this association, they're like. And then also sometimes when emotionally we are feeling overwhelmed or we are feeling vulnerable, एक emptiness सा अंदर लगता है, तो वो physically हमें feel होता है. That is why we stuff in food so much.
Right.
So it is absolutely indication. That is the reason when people ask me that, when would you ask somebody to see a therapist? I'm like, अगर आप कम खा रहे हो ज़्यादा खा रहे हो, अगर आप कम सो रहे हो ज़्यादा सो रहे हो, अगर आप कम socialize कर रहे हो ज़्यादा socialize करो, because there is no balance. But eating is one of the important things, and I see some people drink a lot of water also. They keep drinking. They feel bad and they're drinking water. Like, and then they'll be like, मैं तो इतना पानी पी रही हूँ, तो but इतना पानी पीना ही क्यों है?
क्यों
3 से
पीना?
5 लीटर पीना भाई. All these things do happen. It has a direct connection with it, and then weight issues, underweight or overweight, all these things come along. But basically, if you're able to take care of that emotional eating, automatically things get better. And for that to begin with, what I tell people is like, okay, fine, you feel hungry in that moment, or you want to eat, or you want to make yourself feel good, but surround yourself with healthy foods. मखाना रख लो, ड्राई फ्रूट्स रख लो, एप्पल रख लो, बनाना रख लो, ये सब चीजें रखो.
तो वो खाने को मन नहीं करता.
Exactly. That would be one thing if you surround yourself with healthy foods. Easy access होगा उसके साथ. Second would be, if you are somebody who has a habit of ordering रात को, remove the app from your phone.
Right.
जितना आप उसको थोड़ा डिस्टेंस बढ़ा दोगे, उतना मुश्किल होगा, शायद आलस आएगा. यार अभी कौन करेगा, अभी ऐप करना, फिर उसमें पैसे कनेक्ट करना, इट्स लाइक टू मच ऑफ
बहुत ज़्यादा काम है.
हाँ, तो उसमें भी हो जाता है. बट more than that, one needs to really get into therapy to address it.
Right. If you cannot figure out कि क्यों हो रहा है, तो then there needs to be professional help in that case.
Yeah, it is very important because we have so many childhood issues related to it. It's like inner child issue where people find it. Sometimes the conditioning, I had a client and where the client was told as a child, she was chubby and she still was chubby when she came in therapy. She wasn't able, she would do everything, diet charts, like exercising, but she wasn't losing weight because she had a belief system that I look cute. She was always told, you're so cute, you're so cute, you're so cute. And now she has a belief system, I'm cute because I'm chubby. And what if I lose weight, then people don't find me cute.
Oh.
So self-sabotaging happens. Holding yourself back from,
Right.
So all these things do happen and we think, नहीं ऐसा थोड़ी हो सकता है. But then we actually
एक
see all
thought
this
का
and-
वो इतना effect कैसे हो सकता है? But clearly there is.
Yeah.
There is. Wow. So these were some questions that I, as an individual, and a lot of people, because we did go into FAQs about mental health, and we chalked out these questions for Miss Kabir, and it's good to know that everything boils down to that one thing: recognize that something is not in order and go to a professional. That is, छोटी से छोटी चीज़ भी हो सकती है and बड़ी से बड़ी चीज़ भी हो सकती है. You can never know. As कोई भी मम्मी बोलेगी कि भाई सर दर्द हो रहा है, इसका मतलब कुछ भी हो सकता है. So फिर अगर थोड़ा सा भी दिमाग खराब हो रहा है तो उसका मतलब कुछ भी हो सकता है. Go to a professional, talk to them, and you will definitely get a better result and you will get better. Another thing, get better. Before I end this, a lot of people feel that now I've been diagnosed with some XYZ problem, up to I can never lead a normal life. Is that the case?
No, not at all. I have so many cases who have been diagnosed with schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder and all. And they're having amazing life. They have a good job, good relationship, friend circle, support system. Yes, you might have to need a little more effort than others, but that does not mean just because you have been diagnosed with something you can't lead a normal life. That's not true at all.
And these are such extreme cases that we talked about.
Very big cases, yeah, very big cases.
So you can lead a normal life even if you are facing certain issues. Solve हो जाएंगे, कोई बात नहीं.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Ms. Kabir, for joining me today and talking about these things, because these are very important things and लोगों को पता होनी चाहिए, and it's always better when it comes from a professional rather than from a random site that you are looking on the internet or from Google for that matter. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Keep listening to Disease on ABP Live Podcasts.